Viewers, Judaism, Christianity and Islam are the three great monotheistic religions of the world. Let's see how Australia can become a role model as far as promotion of tolerance and harmony amongst these three religions. We have decided to interview three members out of these three religions, and first up we have Rabbi Shimon Cohen from the Jewish community.
Every Jew is bidden by his or her own tradition to honor and respect every single human being, whether this be a Christian, a Muslim, or any human being of any faith whatsoever. The reason for this is simply that the human being was created in the image of God. The human being possesses a soul which is a mirror of the divine and is capable of resonating with godly values, with conduct which God has instructed for all humanity. The same Bible in which this says that this little piece of land pertains to the Jewish people, it says also that any human being is welcome to live within it and is deserving of welfare and care like Jews themselves, on one condition only: that they will keep the Noahide laws, that they will observe the basic laws which have to do with refraining from violence and various other practices which overturn social order. So the extraordinary thing is really, when this, the ultimate lesson of the crisis in the Middle East is that if we would focus on our common spiritual root, we would find peoples of Jewish, Christian, and Muslim backgrounds all coexisting very harmoniously in that land. It's only when interests persist which have a particular political and group agenda that religion is abused and misused as a veneer for political ambitions. The truth of the matter is, every single human being wants to live in peace in their heart of hearts. Now, if we can and I'm sure that the simple people, the simple Muslims, the simple Christians, the simple Jews yearn for this. The greatest problem in the current world, which gives expression to all sorts of bigotry, all kinds of violence, in fact, is where we find that personal political interest, where individual passions take control, individual projects and visions dominate the consciousness of people and take individuals, groups, and even cultures sometimes away from that genuine humility and that genuine openness to one Creator, whom we all share. And when that humility departs, when that lack of self-transcendence is lost, that's where violence comes in. That's where individuals can take religion and use it as a veneer for their own personal ambitions or their own passions or their own interests. And that, in my opinion, is in fact the distortion of true religion. True religion, as it is shared by all of humanity, is expressed when the human being recognizes that I and you and this other person, we are all creatures of God. We want to do what God wants. We know that God's rules are rules for harmony and peace in society. When we discover a common resonance, a common legitimacy of these values in the hearts and minds of every man and woman on earth, then we have got the true basis for that kind of unity and fraternity amongst humanity, which is going to make peace possible. Because, to quote a statement of a former American president, he said, this was President J.F. Kennedy, he said, "Peace is not made through conventions and treaties, but in the hearts and minds of men," and we would add of women too. So therefore, the only way to get a real foundation for the harmony of cultures is to somehow give an exposure of these shared intrinsic values which humanity has in common.
This was Rabbi Shimon Cohen giving the Jewish perspective. Now let's see how a Jewish synagogue looks like.
We're standing here in a house of prayer which is also called a synagogue, but it's also a house of study. The name for that is what's called a Beit Medrash, a house of learning. And for thousands of years, Jewish people have had these buildings in which they've come to pray and come to learn. And of course, the format will differ from culture to culture. In certain cultures, they used to sit on mats on the floor. In Europe, in Central Europe, there was the custom to sit on chairs, as we see chairs all around here, all facing towards what's called the Holy Ark. This platform here is known as the bima. On this table here, we read